Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you are fine and busy in your learning. Yesterday we revised about all the tenses, and today we are going to learn the voices. Uh, it is also today's request. If you want to ask any question, ask after 9:30. So let's start our lesson. So this is active and passive voice. So the question is, what is voice? Let's see. Voice is a term. Okay, voice is a term used to describe whether whether a verb is active or passive. Okay, this is, we can say, it tells us whether the your sentence is active and passive. Okay, there are, in other words, when the subject of the verb is doing the action of the verb is said to be the active voice. And when the subject of the verb is being acted upon the verb is said to be passive voice. So the voice of a verb tells us whether the subject is acted or being acted. Means subject is dominating or it is dominated by the verb, dominated by the action. Okay, I hope you have understood that voice is a term, okay, that describes whether the sentence is active or passive. What is the active voice? Let's see. Already we have told you, if the subject is performing the action, then the verb is said to be in the active voice. Okay, commonly whatever we have studied, that is active voice. The tenses yesterday I told you all are in active voice, or you know what is the construction. Okay, that is subject, verb and object. Okay, so let's see the example. Active voice example. The dog is subject. Then at is the verb, you know, second form of the verb. Are, then the object is our turkey. The dog ate our turkey. Okay, so in this sentence, subject did the verb, the subject did the action. What is the passive voice? Okay, passive voice. Okay, if the subject is having the action done to it, when the verb is said to be in the passive voice. Look at this. What is the subject? Subject was, here subject is our turkey. Then what is the verb? Verb is was eating. Passive voice is was eating. And what was the object? Means the previous subject, that is the dog. In the first sentence, dog ate the turkey. So in this, so in passive voice, object takes the place of the subject and subject takes the place of the object. Okay, so in easy words we can say, in active voice the subject is dominating, subject is the doer who is doing the action. In passive voice, the most important thing is the action, is your verb. Okay, and the subject who is who is doing, okay, that goes in the end. Now let's see. So why do we use passive voice? Now you have understood what is passive voice. Okay, in passive voice the subject is not important, the work is important. So why we need to do so? So why we use passive voice? So reason number one, the agent means the subject, the doer. Okay, they are all one thing. Okay, the agent means the subject is less important. For example, the hotel has been renovated. Okay, we do not concern, it is less important Who renovated the hotel? The important thing is the hotel has been renovated. Okay. The next is the agent, means the subject is unknown. We do not know the subject. Okay. For example, the wallet was stolen last week. We do not know that who stole the wallet. We just know the wallet was ours and it was stolen. So my wallet got stolen here. It was the subject was unknown, so that's why we use just the passive voice. There is no need to use active voice. Now the third reason is the agent, means the subject is obvious. It means we already know who is the subject. Like we already know the thief was arrested yesterday. We know very well who arrests the thieves. Must be the police. So the thief was arrested, we can say, by the police yesterday. But there is no need to say who arrested. Everybody knows, it is obvious that it must be arrested by the police. So, okay, the number 4 reason, to develop a topic. Here there is a sentence. Harry Potter is a fantasy novel. J.K. Rowling wrote it. There are two sentences, okay, are not looking very fine. Instead of this, we can use passive voice like this. Harry Potter, is a novel, was written by J.K. Rowling. So we can say this in one sentence. Okay, I hope you have understood the reasons why do we use the passive voice. Now, so there are one type of verbs. They are transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. So first we want to know which sentences can be converted into passive voice. So for knowing that, it is very necessary to know about transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs, action passes from the subject, doer, to the object. In other words, a transitive verb requires an object. And again, it is very necessary. A transitive verb needs an object. It is necessary. Otherwise, it will not be a transitive verb. Just like you fly a kite. You is a subject, fly is a verb, and the kite is the object, and it is necessary. And without kite, the subject will be incomplete. You fly. We don't know what. That's why. Then the second sentence is they play cricket. Okay. So here the subject is they, play is the verb, and cricket is the object. Okay. And without cricket, without object, the sentence will be incomplete. So, and the third example is the cat killed a rat. Okay, so the cat is the subject, killed is a verb, and a rat, this is object. And without if we say the cat killed, so there will be a question mark, what it killed. So when we say the cat killed a rat, so then the sentence completes. So in transitive verbs, it is necessary to have to have an object. Okay, and without object there is no transitive verb, and only transitive verbs can be converted into passive voice. Understood? Only transitive verbs can be converted into passive voice. Then let's see what are intransitive verbs. Okay. An intransitive verb does not require an object. For example, I go to school means with intransitive verb doesn't need any object. It is complete without an object, without a direct object. Just like I go to school. Here there is no, indicate there is no direct object. I go to school. There is no object. You know what is object? For object is also a noun. Okay, a subject and object both are nouns. Nouns or pronouns. Okay, then the dog barks. Okay, so the subject is complete. The dog barks. Okay, we do not need any other noun. We do not need any object. Then number 3 is the sun shines. Okay, there is no need. We can use an adjective, but there is no need to use any object. Okay, understood? So we cannot change an intransitive verb in into passive voice. This is very necessary to recognize which you can change into passive voice and which sentences you cannot change into passive voice. I hope you have understood. Already you must know about transitive and intransitive verbs. Okay, we were just revising. Now, in a common sentence, there are two types of verbs. Number one, auxiliary verbs, helping verb or helping verbs. They are to be verbs, just like is, am, are, was, were, been, being, shall be, will be. They are all to be verbs, okay, showing of existence. So they are auxiliary or helping verbs. They are used in the passive voice sentences. Okay, any of the verb, any of these auxiliary verb will be used and is used in active and passive both voices. And number B is main or principal verb. Okay, there is no sentence without a main verb. In every sentence, there is a verb. The flower is beautiful. Okay, the sentence is the flower is beautiful. So it means the main verb is. Sometimes is can be used as a main verb. So here the examples are eat, drink, see, play, go, run, ring, write, read. They are all the examples of main verb. Just like she drinks coffee, I I see a movie, they play cricket, we go to school, they run fast, the bell rings, they write a letter, I read a book. So they are all the examples of main verb. And remember, there is no sentence without a main verb. Now, let's see the rules for changing active voice into passive voice. How to change? What are the rules when we change into passive, active voice into passive voice? Let's see. The number one. Number one, the principal. Okay, main verb or the principal verb are same. Okay, main verb will be changed into third form. You know, there are many forms of verb. Okay, first form in the simple present tense you use first form. In the simple past you use second form, and sometimes you use present participle in continuous tenses. Okay, but uh, in passive voice, in all type of sentences, the main verb will be changed into third form. I mean past participle. Now, helping verb or auxiliary. You saw the examples. Okay, what are the helping verbs that are is, am, are, was, were, be, being, been will be added before the main verb. Okay, there are there are many tenses. Okay, there are about 12 tenses. Out of 12 tenses, 8 tenses can be converted into passive voice. Okay, so any of the helping verb, okay, we will tell you later which auxiliary verb will be used with which sentence. Okay, but any of the verb, any of the auxiliary or helping verb will be used will be will be used in the passive voice. Now the third rule is, okay, the object the object of the verb becomes the subject, and the subject is brought after the verb with the addition of by before it. Okay, I told you before, the object becomes the subject. Okay, the object takes the place of the subject, and subject is brought after the verb. Okay, subject is placed. We bring the subject after the verb with addition, and before after verb we always use by. If you want to use, if you want to write subject, so before it is always written by. Remember. Okay, then number 4, if the subject and object both are personal pronouns. You know what are personal pronouns? They are I, we, you, they, he, she, it, and in objective case they are me, us, you, him, her, them, etc. If the subject of or object or both are personal pronouns, their cases will be changed as under. Okay, means if I I was the subject of the sentence, and which if we change into passive voice, the subject will be changed into me. Okay, or the object was if the object was me and it takes the place of the subject, so it will be changed into I. Are you understanding? Okay, okay, we will be changed into us. If okay, then you will be changed, there will remain you, then he will be changed into him, then she will be changed into her, and they will be changed into them. And before each of the object, okay, when we write the subject as the object, so before it is necessary to write by. Okay, I hope students take the screenshot of these rules. You have to write in the copy. Okay, I hope you have taken the screenshot. Now let's move on. Now let's see this is the summary of the tenses. With which tense we use which type of auxiliary verbs. Okay, suppose in simple present tense, okay, it is we write she, I offer, or she offers. This verb is offer. Okay, you know very well with singular pronouns we use s with the subject. So just like she offers or I offer. So am, is, or are will be used. Is, am, or are will be used as the auxiliary verb, just like she, just like she is offered. I am offered. This is passive voice. We are offered. Okay. Then present progressive means present continuous tense. Okay. If the active is, you know, we use is, am, are as auxiliary verb in active sentences as well. So just like if we say she is offering, or I am offering, and or they are offering. So when we change into passive voice, so we would say she, or he is being offered, or they are being offered, or I am being offered, depending. So the auxiliary verb of present continuous tense is being offered. Sorry, is being, and third form of the is, am or are plus being. Okay. Now simple past tense. Then if the action is active voice is offered. Okay, this is second form. Okay, in passive voice we will use was or were depending on the subject plus third form of the verb. So was or verb is the auxiliary verb of passive voice in simple past tense. Then past progressive tense means past continuous tense. If the is the active voice is was or were offering, depend करता है she was offering or they were offering. So when we change into passive voice, so being of okay, was being or were being is the auxiliary verb. So we would say just like uh, they they were being offered. Okay, and she was being offered. Okay, then and we will tell you more in the next exercise. Okay, then if this is simple future. Okay, this is future tense means simple future. Okay, what we use shall or will be used um as the auxiliary verb and first form of the verb we use. Okay, when we change into passive voice, so will be or shall be is the auxiliary verb of the passive voice. Just like I I will be offered, he will be offered, or they will be offered. Okay, then present perfect tense. Okay, in present perfect tense, just like we use has or have plus third form of the verb, means past participle. So if we say he he has offered or they have offered, so the auxiliary verb the auxiliary verb of the passive voice will be has been, has been or have been, and plus third form of the verb. In each of the passive voice main verb, we have to use third form of the verb. Then past perfect tense. Okay, in past perfect tense, in active voice we use had offered. They, okay, they have selected as an example offer. So, eh, just like I had offered. So, in passive voice, we will use just like they had been offered or she had been offered. Means had been is the auxiliary verb of the passive voice. Then future perfect. Okay, in future perfect tense, we use shall or will have um, with have and third form of the verb. Just like uh, I will I will have offered. When we change into passive voice, the will or shall and have been, will have been or shall have been will be the auxiliary verb of passive voice. Just like I will have been offered. Okay, now let's see the next exercise. Now let's see how to change into passive voice. Let's see. We have taken a sentence of simple present tense. Okay, just like he writes a letter. Just recognize what is subject, what is verb, and what is object. Okay, just like he is a subject, writes is a verb, is a main verb, and a letter is the object. You know very well. And when we change into passive voice, okay, so the object takes the place of the subject. It's like now the a letter now it has placed as a subject. A letter. Okay. Now what is the auxiliary verb of passive of simple present tense is, and the third form we always use in all the tenses. So is the auxiliary verb and written is the third form. Okay, and he becomes him. Okay, when it was in active voice, so it was he, because when it took the place uh, of the object, so it was converted into him. Okay, you can see the list again. So we can say a letter is written by him. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now let's see an example of simple past tense. Okay, this is active voice. He bought a car. In we use second form of the verb in simple past tense. So subject is, what is the subject? That is he. What is the verb? That is bought. And what is the object? That is a car. So for changing into passive voice, we bring the object first. So a car, we have brought, a car was the object, so now it has come first as a subject. So was is the auxiliary verb, means helping verb of the passive voice. And bought is the main verb. Okay, bought. It has the same form, the second form and the third form same. Here we have used in the passive voice as a third form. And after verb we put by, uh, and the subject has changed into object, and now he has changed into him. A car was bought by him. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now, let's see. Let's take an example of present continuous tense. Okay. In present continuous tense, we use subject plus is/am/are plus ing form, means present participle, and plus object. So here Javed is object. Okay, and is the auxiliary verb, and making is the main verb, and a cake is the object. So now a cake means the object is coming first, a cake, and the is being is the auxiliary verb of present continuous tense. Okay, is being, am being, or are being, depending on the subject. A cake is being made by Javed. Okay, made is, okay, making was the main verb of the active voice, and and in all the tenses we use the third form of the verb, and made is the third form, and Javed will remain Javed, and that is the now it is being used as object, and before the subject, okay, we put by. So the passive voice is, a cake is being made by Javed. Okay, now let's move to the next sentence. That is simple future tense. So we use will or shall and plus first form of the verb in active voice. Just like the active sentence is, she will accept the offer. The she is the subject, main verb is accept, and the offer is the object. Now the offer is coming first. The offer will be accept. Okay, will be is the auxiliary verb, and third form. Okay, accept, accepted is the third form of the verb, and she has been changed into her. Okay, um, when we write as a subject, so it was she, and when we used as an object, now it has been changed into her. So the offer will be accepted by her. This is passive voice. I hope you have understood. Now the next sentence. Past continuous tense. Okay. Sarah, um, this is past continuous tense. Okay. Sarah was singing a song. Sarah is the subject, was is the auxiliary verb, and the main verb is singing. Okay, and a song is the object. Now for changing passive voice, a song comes first, then the auxiliary verb of the passive voice is was, being. Okay, and the third form of sing is Sing, sang, sung. Sung is the third form of the verb. Okay, and Sarah will remain Sarah. Okay, there is no change in the names and before the object. Okay, before the coming object, we write by. So a song was being sung by Sarah. Okay, now let's see the next. Now this is your home task. Change the following sentences into passive voice. Okay, I was eating a mango. Now you have to change these sentences into passive voice. In your do your homework at the grammar side of your copy. I was eating a mango. We are flying a kite. He killed a snake. You wrote a letter. They have drunk water. She sings a song. They will play cricket. She speaks good English. I will help you. She reads a story. Okay, beta, take the screenshot of your homework. I'm just waiting for your taking screenshot. Okay, beta. So it was my teaching. Inshallah, next time we will meet you. Allah Hafiz. Now I am taking your questions.